Alright, so I'll try to read some more of this. 3 Enoch, chapter 5. The idolatry of the generation of Enoch causes God to remove the Shekinah from the earth, or Shekinah from the earth. Idolatry was inspired by Uzzah, and Azael. Alright. I guess that's just a description of the chapter. Alright, so Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, from the day when the Holy One, blessed be he, evicted the first Adam from the Garden of Eden, and continuing from that day, the Shekinah was dwelling upon the cherub under the tree of life, and ministering... Sorry, I heard something, I don't know what that was. And the ministering angels were gathering together and going down from heavens in groups from the Rakia. They went in companies from the heavens in camps to perform his will in the entire world. And the first man and his children were sitting outside the gate of the garden to see the glowing, bright appearance of the Shekinah. For the splendor of the Shekinah enfolds the world from end to end with its splendor 365,000 times that the orb of the sun. And everyone who made use of the splendor of the Shekinah, on him no flies and no gnats lit, and he was not ill, and he suffered no pain. No demons could overpower him, neither were they able to injure him. When the Holy One, blessed be he, went out and went in from the Garden of Eden, from Eden to the garden, from the garden to Rakia, and from Rakia, which means heaven, to the Garden of Eden, and then everything and everyone saw his magnificent Shekinah, and they were not injured, until the time of the generation of Enoch, who was the head of all idol worshippers of the world. The Shekinah was an energy or substance that was protecting those who used it from illness, demons, and even bugs. That's a side note, I guess. And what did the generation of Enoch do? They went from one end of the world to the other, and each person brought silver, gold, precious stones, and pearls in heaps the size of mountains and hills to make idols out of them throughout the entire world. And they erected the idols in every corner of the world. The size of each idol was 1,000 parasangs. There's another note. The generations of Enoch are as follows: Adam, Seth, Enoch, Kenan, Mahalalel, Yared, and Enoch. The highest or the worst of sins, according to rabbis, are idolatry, adultery, bloodshed, and sorcery, and calling God's name in vain. A parasang is a length or measurement of distance used in what is now Iran. It varied according to the region. The northeastern parasang was about 15,000 paces. The northwestern parasang was 18,000 paces, and one of the southwest was merely 6,000 paces. The measurement called the true parasang was about 9,000 paces. I don't know, don't ask me. And they brought down the sun, the moon, planets, and constellations, and placed them in front of the idols on the right side and on the left side of the idols, to attend to them just like they attend to the Holy One, blessed be he. For it is written, all the hosts of heaven were standing by him on his right hand and on his left. What power was in them to enable to bring them down? They would not have been able to bring them down if it not had been for the fact that Uzzah and Azael taught them sorceries, by which they brought them down and enslaved them. It's another note. It is obvious that the actual sun and stars were not brought down, but the angelic powers controlling them were summoned. Also keep in mind that some cultures thought stars to be evil angels who flew across the sky. These agents were summoned and used. Alright, that note seemed a little redundant and pointless. Maybe not, though. I don't know. In that time, the ministering angels accused them before the Holy One, blessed be he, saying, Master of the world, why do you bother with the children of men? As it is written, what is man, that you are mindful of him? But it was not about Adam that this was written, but about Enoch, for he is the head of the idol worshippers. Why have you left the highest of the high heavens, which are filled with the majesty of your glory, and are high, lifted up and exalted on the high and exalted throne in the Rakia heaven, and the Araboth highest heaven, and are gone and dwell with the children of men who worship idols and equate you to the idols. sorry, I got things in parentheses in here that just seem really, like, equate you to, place you on the same level as. I mean, okay, I don't know why they put that in parentheses. That's just why I'm doing these weird pauses, because I'm trying to read through and decide whether or not to include it. The word Erabot, or I guess how you say it, is the highest heaven, occurs in Psalm 68:4. Extol him who rides upon the Erabot, in which it is usually translated simply as the highest heaven. In the case of 3 Enoch, this would be the throne of God. In the Zoharic commentary on Exodus, it is referred to thus: be glad in the presence of him who rides upon the concealed heaven, which is supported by the Heot. The Zohar also interprets the word to mean mixture, because it says, this heaven is a mixture of fire and water. This is a mystical statement of a place containing opposites, and thus everything. Well, that's pretty cool. Now you are on earth, just like the idols. What have you to do with the inhabitants of the earth who worship idols? Then the Holy One, blessed be he, lifted up his Shekinah from the earth, from their midst. In that moment the ministering angels came. They are troops of the host in the armies of the Erabot, that's the highest heaven, in 1,000 camps and 10,000 hosts. They brought trumpets and took the horns in their hands and surrounded the Shekinah with all kinds of songs. And he ascended to the high heavens, for it is written, God is gone up with a shout, the Lord with the sound of a trumpet. Then it says, here the presence and dwelling of God is the Shekinah. When the Shekinah was taken, God himself left them and took his glory because of idolatry. All right, chapter 6. It says, Enoch is lifted up to heaven together with the Shekinah. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, said to me, when the Holy One, blessed be he, wanted to lift me up on high, he first sent Anaphael, Yahweh, the prince, and he took me from their company out of their sight and carried me away in great glory on the chariot of fire, pulled by horses of fire and servants of glory. And he lifted me up to the high heavens together with his Shekinah. As soon as I reached the high heavens, the holy Heot, the Onaphim, the Seraphim, the Cherubim, and the wheels of the Merkabah, and the ministers of the consuming fire, all smelled my scent from a distance of 365,000 myriads of parasangs, and said, what smells like one born woman, and what tastes like a white drop? Sorry. Who is this that ascends on high? He is merely a gnat among those who can divide flames of fire. Here's a note. Heot, or Cheot, are considered angels of fire who hold up the throne of God and the earth itself. The angel smells the scent of a human, which he finds revolting. He can taste it in the air. The white drop refers to semen, which is an extremely hateful and distasteful statement for the angel to make. I'm sorry I'm immature. I think that's funny. All right, the Holy One, blessed be he, answered and spoke to them, my servants, my hosts, my cherubim, whatever, my anaphim, and my seraphim, do not be displeased on account of this, since all the children of men have denied me and my great kingdom, and have all gone worshipping idols. I have removed my Shekinah from among them, and have lifted it up on high. But this one whom I have taken from among them is an elect one among the world, and he is equal to all of them in his faith, righteousness, and perfection of deed, and I have taken him as a tribute from my world under all the heavens. The statement of taking a tribute can be better understood if one looks at Enoch as the best mankind has to offer, and God took him as an act of admiration, indicating the intended worth of mankind had they not turned away from him. The term elect one is very important. It occurs in 1 Enoch and in certain scripture regarding Christ. Okay, chapter 7. Enoch is raised upon the wings of Shekinah to the place of the throne. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, said to me, when the Holy One, blessed be he, took me away from the generation of the flood, he lifted me on the wings of the wind of Shekinah to the highest heaven, and brought me to the great palaces of the Erabot in Rakia, where the glorious throne of Shekinah, the Merkabah, the troops of anger, the armies of the Hemites, the fiery Shinaim, that says accusers, and the flaming cherubim, the burning Onaphim, the flaming servants, the flashing Chasmalim, the lightning seraphim live. And he placed me to attend daily to the thrones of glory. In some Jewish mystical writings, the attributes of Elijah and those of Enoch are interchangeable. Here, Enoch takes the same trip to heaven on a fiery chariot. Here we have various classes of angels on which we have little information. The Chasmalim are one of 10 classes, which are sometimes silent for a time in heaven. They cease speaking or singing when the word emanates from the throne. I'm not even sure what these notes are from. They just seem like, I don't know if they're just the author's notes or if he's getting them from somewhere else. Because I didn't think, I thought Elijah went up in a tornado, and a chariot of fire separated him and Elisha. But I don't know. Shinaim are a class of angels seen in lists of angelic orders. Their name seems to come from a word for accuser, and thus could be the Satans in heaven. Ooh, Satan's in heaven. Chapter 8. The gates of heaven opened to Metatron. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, before he appointed me to attend to the throne of glory, the Holy One, blessed be he, opened to me 300,000 gates of understanding, 300,000 gates of wisdom, 300,000 gates of life, 300,000 gates of grace and loving kindness, 300,000 gates of love, 300,000 gates of the Torah, 300,000 gates of meekness, 300,000 gates of steadfastness, 300,000 gates of mercy, 300,000 gates of respect for heaven. I'm going to skip that note. Within the hour, the Holy One, blessed be he, gave me an additional wisdom, and to wisdom he added understanding unto understanding, cunning unto cunning, knowledge unto knowledge, mercy unto mercy, instruction unto instruction, love unto love, loving kindness unto loving kindness, goodness unto goodness, meekness unto meekness, power unto power, strength unto strength, might unto might, brightness unto brightness, beauty unto beauty, splendor unto splendor. And I was honored and adorned with all these good, praiseworthy things more than all the children of heaven. It says, Enoch has become more blessed or equipped than all the children of heaven. Loving kindness equates to grace in the New Testament. I don't know if I know how you really make that statement. Who knows? Enoch receives, chapter 9, Enoch receives blessing from the Most High and is adorned with angelic attributes. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, after all these things, the Holy One, blessed be he, put his hand on me and blessed me with 5,360 blessings, and I was raised up and grew to the size of the length and width of the world, and he caused 72 wings to grow on me, 36 on each side, and each wing covered the entire world, and he attached to me 365 eyes. Each eye was as the great luminary, and then it's got, I guess I don't know if that's talking about the moon, I don't know. And he left no kind of splendor, brilliance, radiance, beauty of all the lights of the universe that he did not affix to me. There is no direct correlation for the number 5,360. It is not evenly divisible by any other number in the chapter, but it is thought to reflect the number 365. The number of the days in a solar year. The number 72 is used to reflect the number of the nations of the world and represents the known world. This is backed up by the phrase stating the wings cover the world. Chapter 10, God places Metatron on a throne as ruler of the seventh hall. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, all these things the Holy One, blessed be he, made for me. He made me a throne similar in form and substance to the throne of glory, and he spread a curtain of magnificently bright appearance over me. And it was of beauty, grace, and mercy similar to the curtain of the throne of glory, and on it were affixed all kinds of lights in the universe. And he placed the curtain at the door of the seventh hall and sat me down on it. And the announcement went forth into every heaven, saying, This is Metatron, my servant. I have made him a prince and a ruler over all the princes of my kingdoms and over all the children of heaven, except the 8 great, honored, and revered princes, who are the ones called Yahweh by the name of their king. This is the 8 beings who are called Yahweh may refer to those angels who have the Tetragrammaton as part of their name. These are highly ranked angels that are outside the normal system of authority. They are the ones God used as his counsel. Verse 4, And every angel and prince who has a word to speak to me shall now go before him, and they shall speak to him instead of me. And every command that he speaks to you in my name you will obey, carry out, and fulfill. For the Prince of Wisdom and the Prince of Understanding I have committed to him to instruct him in the wisdom of heavenly things and earthly things, in the wisdom of this world and of the world to come. Moreover, I have set him over all the storehouses of the palaces of Erebot and over all the storehouses of life that I have in the high heavens. Chapter 11, God reveals all of the great mysteries to Metatron. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the present, said to me, The Holy One, blessed be he, began revealing to me all the mysteries of Torah and all the secrets of wisdom and the deep mysteries of the perfect law. He revealed the thoughts of all living beings and their feelings and all the secrets of the universe and all the secrets of creation. All these were revealed to me just as they are known to the maker of creation, and I watched intently to see and understand the secrets and depths of the wonderful mystery. Before a man thought a thought in secret, I saw it, and before a man made a thing, I watched it, and there was nothing on high or in the depth of the world that was hidden from me. Chapter 12. God puts a crown on him and calls him the Lesser Yahweh. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, Because of the love that the Holy One, blessed be he, loved me with, was more than all the children of heaven, he made me a garment of glory on which were affixed lights of all varieties, and he clothed me in it. And he made me a robe of honor on which were affixed beauty, magnificent brilliance, and majesty of all sorts. And he made a crown of royalty on which were affixed 49 stones of worth, which were like the light of the orb of the sun. It says 49 is a mystical number of 7 sevens. The number 7 represents spiritual perfection. Its splendor went out into the 4 corners of the Erebot of Rakia, and through the 7 heavens, and throughout the 4 corners of the world. He placed it on my head, and he called me the Lesser Yahweh. For in the presence of all his heavenly household, for it is written, For my name is in him. Okay, I'll read 2 more chapters, not very much. Chapter 13, God writes with a flaming pen on Metatron's crown the letters by which heaven and earth were created. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the glory of the heaven of all heavens, and the prince of the present, said to me, Holy One, blessed be he, loved and cherished me with great love and mercy, more than all the children of heaven. Thus he wrote with his finger, with a flaming pen, on the crown upon my head, the letter by which heaven and earth, the seas and rivers, the mountains and hills, the planets and constellations, the lightning, winds, earthquakes, and thunders, the snow and hail, the wind of the storm, and the tempest were created. These are the letters by which all the needs of the world and all the orders of creation were created. And every single letter flashed out time after time like lightning, and time after time like lanterns, time after time like flames of fire, time after time rays like those of the rising of the sun and the moon and the planets. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. It is thought that all these were created when God spoke the words in the Hebrew tongue. These words are symbolized by the combination of the 22 letters. Chapter 14. All the highest of the princes and lowest angels fear and tremble at the sight of Metatron crown. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the present, said to me, When the Holy One, blessed be he, put this crown on my head, all the princes of the nations who are in the height of the Erebot of Rakia, and all the host of every heaven, and even the prince of Elim, the princes of the Orelim, and the princes of Tafsarim, who are greater than all the ministering angels who minister before the throne of glory, trembled before me. They shook, feared and trembled before me when they looked at me. This is a very interesting list of angels and princes. According to the Jewish mystical sources, such as the Zohar, there are 10 classes of angels under Michael. The Elohim denotes a general class of angels, while the Elim minister before God in the high heavens. The Tafsirim are the princes of the Elim. Even Samael, the prince of the accusers, who is greater than all the princes of nations on high, feared me and shook before me. Samael is the head of the Satans or accusers. He is also the ruling angel over Rome, the archenemy of Israel. And even the angel of fire, the angel of hail, the angel of wind, the angel of lightning, the angel of wrath, and the angel of thunder, and the angel of snow, and the angel of rain, and the angel of the day, and the angel of the night, and the angel of the sun, and the angel of the moon, and the angel of the planets, and the angel of the constellations, whose hands rule the world, all of them feared and shook and were frightened when they looked at me. These are the names of the rulers of the world: Gabriel, the angel of fire; Baradiel, the angel who controls hail; Rukael, who controls the wind; Barachiel, who controls the lightning; Zahaphiel, who controls the winds of the storm; Rahamiel, who controls the thunders; Rahashiel, who controls the earthquake; Shalgiel, who controls the snow; Matariel, who controls the rain; Shimshiel, who controls the planets; Rahatiel, who controls the constellations. And they all fell to the ground and bowed when they saw me. And they were not able to look at me because of the majestic glory of the crown on my head. All right, I'll stop there.